Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 laps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. 865-255-03. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Live here from the Low T Center studio. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Wasn't too long ago where, actually it was in the same day, we was watching college football season come to a close. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee tonight. Lady Vols still wrecking stuff and are now in the top 5. Ben, good morning, sir, man. It's good to see you back in the studio, man.
Good morning. Good to see you once again as well.
You ready to rock, man? Rick Barnes spoke to the media.
I guess I'm depressed. Last night was depressing.
Yep.
Last night was depressing. So I am depressed today. Hopefully Tennessee can do to South Carolina what it should do and beat them down tonight and make me feel a little bit better. Also, Ja versus Steph tonight. That is appointment television.
Oh, for sure, man.
So hopefully Tennessee can handle business, get that over with, and then go home and watch Ja take care of business.
Tennessee did not play a football game yesterday, but it felt like Tennessee lost.
Yes.
I mean, it really did feel like Tennessee lost the game. It felt like the Music City Bowl all over again, watching Alabama and Georgia compete on the big stage again. And then I didn't watch 1 second of the coaches breakdown with Jimbo Fisher and all that. I had no interest. None.
I did not either.
No,
I could have cared less.
Did not want to see Jimbo and those guys, openly and recruit, have a stage and platform to recruit on. Did not want to see it. I was good. Did not want to hear their breakdown of the game. Nah, I'm good. I can watch the game and see what's going on, and that's what I did. And that was probably the toughest national championship game I've ever watched. Toughest.
That one and the 2017 one.
Yeah. I mean, the 17 one was the first time that both teams matched up. But this one was different, man. This one was totally different. Totally different. I don't know why. I haven't put my finger on it yet. I've been thinking about it. I don't know why, but it was different. But man, it was tough to watch. It was tough to watch.
Well, it was really tough to watch the last 7-8 minutes or so of that game. I wasn't rooting for Alabama. That's not the way to describe it, but I prefer that Bama win instead of Georgia because it's better for Tennessee that Bama win another one of them things rather than Georgia be able to snap its 41-year streak without winning a natty. And I was thinking that Bama was going to be able to pull it off and continue to put Georgia in its place, especially after Stetson had that fumble. And credit where credit is due. I did not think Stetson Bennett had it in him. And after that fumble, I especially thought that. And he came back and threw an absolute dime for a touchdown. And then on that next possession after that one, back-to-back possessions of scoring drives to really put it away before the pick six to end it. So last night was not fun, particularly the last 7 minutes is my point. It was okay for the first 3.5 quarters, and then just the final 7-8 minutes in the celebration was just felt like I was walking on glass.
Yeah, we got a good look of how it's supposed to be, where Tennessee is supposed to be, and where Tennessee has to be if it wants to play it, on that stage. And we are a couple neighborhoods away from doing that. Closer this year than last year and the year before, and so that's one way to look at it. But we got some work to do. And man, that game was about the trenches. That's the difference. That's the difference. That game was about the trenches. I mean, the amount of weight being moved inside of that box, the amount of speed inside of that box, seeing, Bryce Young ran down by Nolan Smith. Now, he's certainly worth a Ford Raptor. He's worth it. Think about all the money on that field that was spent in recruiting and all the money that those guys will make going to the next level. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it just makes you really understand how much college football is a business and what it takes to win. It costs money. It costs money to win. Georgia finally got over the hump. Kirby Smart finally got over the hump, got the monkey off his back, beating Nick Saban, winning a big game, winning the national championship, and having a quarterback go out there and be the reason why you won instead of being a liability. All those players that Georgia allegedly paid for, hey man, it worked out. It worked out. So they got the monkey off their back, man. No more 40-year Georgia jokes.
Yep. I mean, there's not much Tennessee can say, unfortunately, at the moment. Tennessee just needs to look in the mirror and get better and get back on top of Georgia in that fashion. I will say, I think Bama wins that game if they're healthy.
Yep. I do too.
Bama banged up on defense in the secondary, and you really saw that come to life in the second half. Bama banged up at receiver, especially with Jamison Williams going down in the first half, and looked like he tore his ACL. And it sounded like I've stayed off Twitter for obvious reasons. Did not want to see the celebration of Georgia on my timeline. But it sounded like when Saban and Kirby met at midfield after the game, it sounded like Kirby asked Saban about Jamison Williams, and I thought I heard Saban say that they think it's an ACL. So that just really stinks. But that was the difference in the game late, too. Bryce Young had some opportunities to make throws down the field that he's connected on all year long with Jamison Williams, with John Mechie, and just could not without those guys in there and having to rely on some youngsters. And I know they're 5 stars too, but they're still young, inexperienced, and they could not make the play. So
nope.
Georgia piled it on late, but it was like an avalanche late. And if Bama was healthy, I don't think Georgia is in a position late in that game to have that avalanche happen. But hey, there's always a little bit of luck involved in a championship run. We know that as Tennessee fans. That 98 team had luck on its side quite a bit throughout that season. Not taking anything away from them, but they had the breaks go their way as well. So it is what it is, and it just is what it is, I guess.
865,
so depressing.
865, 255-03.
But a good couple of months for Braves fans. Happy for them.
Yeah. I mean, and here are the Titans with a chance to win one for the Southeast. So
absolutely,
that's one way to look at it too. I know there's a lot of Braves fans who are also Titans fans, so that's another way to look at it. But for Tennessee fans and SEC fans who are not Georgia fans, unfortunately, we got to deal with barking for a couple of months. It's gonna be terrible. And my heart goes out to all the Tennessee fans in the state of Georgia this morning. Chip Payne. I know Stokes lives in South Carolina, but man, he got some Bulldog family members. TC in Athens, Steve in Georgia, Robbie. I'm just thinking about all my Tennessee fans in Georgia. I feel for you this morning. We'll pour out a little bit of coffee for you this morning. Have a moment of silence as we approach our first break of the day. And we got a lot to get to today. Tennessee basketball has a chance to get the bad taste out of their mouths from the weekend's game against LSU. The opponent is nowhere close to LSU, but the best way to get over a loss is go get a win. And Tennessee has an opportunity to do that.
South Carolina's coming off of a big win themselves.
Yep. And, they're going to come in. The mentality that they have. They're tough-minded. Their coach is tough-minded. They'll play hard defense, and they'll play hard. So you better make sure you match that intensity because they see blood in the water. They see a wounded dog, and they're not going to let up at all. They're going to try to pounce, and so we got to make sure that we take care of business tonight. And we'll talk about that during the show. Also, recruiting is always a topic here on the Swain Event, so we will discuss that. Taking your phone calls. Also, hit us up on the text box. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
You want to get in on the conversation? Call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Hi there, Swain Event family. Are you in the market to purchase a home and a bit freaked out with the market right now? As someone who's been in your spot before, I'm familiar with what's going through your brain. And as a realtor, I've mastered the ins and outs of the buying process. When you work with me, you'll benefit from my experience, and together we'll work toward making sound, smart decisions for your future. And of course, talk a little Vol sports along the way. Just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
A lot of good football players on display last night. A lot of good football players. A lot of those guys will be playing on Sundays, and a lot of those players, if you are an NFL fan, you hope plays for your team. You hope plays for your team. I know there's a Roquan Smith on my team. There's a Derrick Henry on your Titans, folks. There's a Minka Fitzpatrick on your team. Ben,
Najee Harris is one of my favorite players for the Steelers.
Yeah, man. So
it be what it be.
It is what it is, right? 865-255-03. Download the free Swain Event app for Android Apple devices. You can hit us up on the text box. You can shoot us an email if you need to, or you can directly call in straight from the app. Plug that thing into the car. You can take it wherever you going. You don't have to sit in the car, listen on the traditional radio. You can take it with you. Put your earbuds in and pretend like you're working. Listen to us. Chop it up for 3 hours. You can do that with the Swain Event app. Take it anywhere. If you miss any part of the show, you can go back and hit up the podcast wherever you get your podcast, whatever platform you use. You can get us there. 865-255-03. Iris Networks hotline. 90 days, no payment for business internet. So, how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? After the game, I know the hate for Alabama was so strong that did not want to see Alabama win another one, but really didn't have a choice. Somebody was going to have to win. But whatever take that you had going into the game, now that the game is over, how does folks feel? Let me hit up the text box. Coach SAJ says, I'm afraid Tennessee will not spend the money it takes. It seemed like we spend too much time thinking about it instead of digging into those pockets. I think the want is there. Not sure the willingness to do is there. Kirby took Saban's blueprint to Georgia. Well, and this is a narrative, guys, that is just not accurate. And I love you, Coach SAJ, but it's just not accurate. The difference is, can I be candid? There's really no other way to be on this topic but candid, right? The difference is, listen, Tennessee has been in the crosshairs of the NCAA. Tennessee has basically fought everybody, so we can have a real conversation, right? The difference is we have wasted resources on players who are not good. It's not the fact that Tennessee is not willing to do what other schools have done or are doing. It's that we've missed. We've missed. Guys that you brought in and used resources on, they haven't been good for you. They haven't been worth the squeeze. It's a reason why every school outside of Tennessee, all the fans hated Coach Fulmer and hates Coach Fulmer because of him telling on Alabama. And Tennessee was accused of doing the same things to go get really good players and win big games. So it's not that Tennessee is not playing like other teams. They're not obviously doing what Georgia's doing right now and Alabama and Texas A&M is doing right now. Those guys have it down to a science, and their folks are on more the same page and working together. But when you have had the turnover, when you've had the infighting and the splits between different fragments inside of the I guess you can call it the donors, then yeah, I mean, it changes a little bit. But this narrative that Tennessee has not used their resources to go recruit players is just not accurate. It's really not.
But even to Coach SHA's point, even with the bad players that Tennessee has spent resources on, those bad players aren't getting the Georgia or Texas A&M or Alabama treatment.
Because you do got to win a little bit too. So
yes,
when you win a little bit, then you have people who are more willing to help and get involved. And so when Tennessee was winning more, when there was more of optimism about, all right, this coach is actually going to do something, Tennessee did it really good in recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
When there was optimism. When there wasn't, then those resources were not as available. But that is a big difference. I mean, it's not the willingness, man. It's you struck out on some. It's been the evaluation from coaches that have been off. It's also been some of the infighting and guys saying, you know what, I'm out. I'm not saying that we are doing the same things that Georgia and Alabama are doing, because we're not. It's the reason why we are where we are and they are where they are. But the narrative that we are not doing anything is not true. I'm not saying that that's what Coach SAJ is saying.
It's somewhere in the middle.
But he says, I'm afraid Tennessee will not spend the money it takes. And that's just not true. It's not true.
I have that same concern. I'm not saying that Tennessee is not doing anything or not willing to do anything, but Tennessee's biggest issue is everybody involved pulling the same rope in the same direction. That's been Tennessee's biggest issue the last decade to 15 years, and that is not an issue at Texas A&M and at Georgia and at Alabama. And when it comes to getting players at Auburn and LSU, it's not an issue there. So, like, I do have that concern, but like I said a moment ago, it's somewhere in the middle of the road. I don't have this belief that Tennessee's doing nothing and just standing by and letting everybody pass them. Like they're making things shake, but there's a difference in making things shake and making things shake the way that Alabama, Georgia, and A&M is making things shake. And, like, we don't have any evidence that points to Tennessee being willing to shake in that manner. And it feels like in order to get to the stage that was played last night, you have to shake in that manner. So, like, I do have a concern. Not a huge concern, but, like, I do wonder, like, if Tennessee will ever be willing to shake that much to get to that point.
Yeah, what I'm not going to do, I don't think it'd be a good idea, is to give examples of how Tennessee shook.
I understand.
That's not a good idea for us to do that.
I understand.
But I am saying that Tennessee has been willing to recruit at a high level, but when you have different coaches, because there was a time, go back and look in the last 10 years, there was a time when Tennessee was in top 5 recruiting. So I'll let y'all put 2 and 2 together. And then there was a coaching change. And then there's another coaching change. So, like, think about that. I can't write with crayons on this. I can't spell this out because this is a sensitive topic. But, like, Tennessee at this point, and I think a lot of people's opinion is based on information that they do or do not know. And I'm telling you now, for the first time in probably the last 10 years, there's more of the important people who are now on the same page more now than in the last decade.
I feel better January 11th, 2022 in terms of Tennessee potentially doing what it needs to do to get to that stage than I did a year ago today, even 6 months ago.
Yeah, every time that you, like, get a new coach, it, like, resets everything. Yes. Now you have a new AD, it resets everything. So the goal is to chase Alabama and now chase Georgia, right? Because now you got two champions now that you play each and every year on your schedule. So Kirby has been at Georgia since 2016. So he's been building this thing for 5 years. 5 years he's been building it. He's been getting players, but he finally got over the hump. So as we sit here in year 1 of Josh Heupel, there's more people that have the ability to make a splash who are now saying, I think we have the guy. Like, I think we have a guy that can win. So now I can help. Now I can put forth my resources to help. Whereas before, folks were like, I'm not putting my resources behind Doofus Dooley. I'm not doing that. That was the case.
Butthole Pruitt.
Yeah, that was the case.
And not only Josh Heupel, to your point, but I think people like to work with Danny White as well.
Yeah, so, like, you're getting more participation. But I understand all those feelings that you have as you're sitting there last night watching that game. Why not me? Why not us? What are we doing wrong? How can we get there? Like, I understand all those emotions that go through your head because I had those same emotions. And then I had to check myself and be like, yo, all right, we just completed year number 1. We've had this issue with infighting and fragments inside of the leadership. And I'm not speaking like, I don't mean leadership like hired Tennessee employees, but I mean like boosters and donors. We've had this power struggle. And for the first time in over a decade, they're more on the same page now than ever because they understand that together with the NIL is the only way. There's no other way. There's no other way. You can be on the highway traveling and see some traffic, and Waze will tell you a different route. But sometimes there's no other route. There's no other way. You're going to have to sit in traffic. There's only one way. And that's where we are right now. There's only one way. And that's to do it together through the NIL. That's the only way. And I think more people understand that. And it helps that you got some competent leadership, and it helps that you have a ball coach where you're seeing some success. And you tell yourself, all right, man, with more resources, man, with some better players, more players, how better can he be? And you feel like he could be better if you help him out more. So that's where we are right now. Like, Tennessee is going to be in it with Nico, the quarterback from California, and Tennessee will be prepared to swim in those waters. But Tennessee is not at the same level as Georgia and Texas A&M when it comes to being out here like we at Magic City. We ain't doing that because we're not at that level right now. We're not. So Pruitt tried to do what Alabama was doing, tried to do what Georgia was doing, and quite frankly, was terrible at it. He was terrible. God, he was terrible at it. But he tried. Now you have the NIL where you can do it legally. But you still have to be smart, and you still have to do it together. So here's the conclusion of my answer with Coach S.A.J. Are we doing it to the level of Alabama and Georgia? No. But are we participating? Are we getting things together, working together more now than ever to get players here using the NIL? Absolutely. Absolutely. I can say that with 100% confidence. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I feel you, Coach S.A.J. I was miserable watching the game last night. Miserable. Someone who loves sports, loves football, talks about it every day for a living. I was miserable watching that game as a Tennessee fan. I really was. 865-255-03. Be right back.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy. Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
This segment just hits different today.
Well, we're not talking any national championship.
Just coaching moves?
No, but we are going to talk about other teams in the SEC East having portal success.
Oh, yeah. Tennessee's not the only team that grabbed a player in the last couple of days, it seems.
No, and the Gamecocks of South Carolina have grabbed multiple players. And Alabama and Georgia, those big-time schools, haven't really gotten involved in the portal a ton just yet. I know Alabama has gone out and gotten Elias Ricks from LSU, who may be the best corner in the country next year. But Carolina's made a handful of really nice additions. Yesterday, they added Christian Beal Smith, the Wake Forest running back, who Tennessee did evaluate and pursue at least a little bit. Christian Beal Smith led Wake Forest with 604 rushing yards last season and scored 7 touchdowns. So Wake Forest running back transferring to South Carolina, and it's a big pickup for South Carolina because Kevin Harris and Jaquandre White both declared for the draft, and your boy Montario Hardesty does have Juju McDowell and Marshawn Lloyd coming back, but they needed another back, and they got it. And they've picked up several guys, as I mentioned. They also picked up James Madison, wide receiver Antoine Wells. And I know you hear James Madison and you kind of raise your eyebrow. This past year for James Madison, Wells set all new records in their record book for single season statistics. He had 21 receiving touchdowns. 1,000. Oh, I think this is his career stats that I've got in front of me. But this year he set the new single season record for touchdowns, receiving yards, and catches. Overall, at James Madison in his career, he had 21 receiving touchdowns, 1,800 receiving yards, and 116 catches. So we'll see how that translates to the SEC. Ole Miss made an addition from the portal. They added safety Ashim Young.
That's weird. Ole Miss is doing that when there's some reports of maybe Lane Kiffin looking at the NFL or the NFL looking at Lane Kiffin. That's something to keep an eye on for sure.
It is indeed. I thought that was interesting as well. Ashim Young comes from Iowa State, where he was the Big 12 co-defensive freshman of the year in 2020. In 2 years at Iowa State, he had 106 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 5 forced fumbles. Really the only thing to add from yesterday is a couple of Kentucky players announcing that they are going to return to school. South Carolina has taken advantage of the portal. Kentucky has taken advantage of players returning for one more season. DeAndre Square, the linebacker for Kentucky, who is very talented, he will return for a super senior season. He's good. Yes, he is good and one of the leaders on that defense. And then Chris Rodriguez.
Coming back too?
He is coming back.
Oh.
He wants to graduate college and rewrite the record books for running backs at Kentucky. I think he's 1,100 yards short of being the all-time leading rusher at Kentucky, so he wants to come back.
He'll get that.
And take care of that while also graduating. So, and South Carolina also – I don't want to talk about it. South Carolina also picked up a transfer. They got 3 transfers yesterday. They got the James Madison receiver, they got the Wake Forest running back, and they got a safety from Central Michigan who over the course of the last 4 years was a all-MAC performer. 281 career tackles, 11 career pass breakups, 3 interceptions. So picking up some impressive non-Power 5 players. We'll see how it translates to the SEC.
Do you have FOMO?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. Yes, because I want to know who Tennessee is going to bring in now, but also the transfer portal can't be judged, or a team's success within the transfer portal can't be judged on January 11th. You can't judge what Tennessee did in the transfer portal this offseason until around SEC Media Days and the beginning of fall camp, in my opinion, because go back and look at last year, all the players that contributed and when they were added. We talked about this last night on the General's Quarters in the Monday Night Chat on VolQuest, and this was my main talking point last night because rightfully so, Tennessee fans are anxious and want to know who Tennessee's going to get, and certainly understand that. I want to know as well, but as a result of wanting to know now, there's also been kind of a little bit of a freak out over Tennessee's lack of perceived movement in the portal. But Tennessee is moving. Just because players aren't jumping in the boat at the rate that South Carolina is getting players to jump in the boat doesn't mean that Tennessee's not being active. They are monitoring every name that enters the portal. They are having conversation with guys in the portal. They are determining whether they would fit in the culture, determining whether it's a good personnel fit, and all those things are being active in the portal. Just because you're not bringing a bunch of players in doesn't mean that you're not being active. And like South Carolina, for example, Hubs made this point. Like Tennessee chose to bring in Isaiah Nayor from Wyoming over the James Madison receiver. So we'll see kind of which move pays off there. And there's been some other transfers that South Carolina has brought in that Tennessee elected not to pursue. So next season, we'll see who made the better decision. So, like, yes, I have FOMO in the sense of I want to know now how Tennessee is going to upgrade its roster. But I also don't have FOMO because I don't think you can properly judge Tennessee's portal success until around media days when the roster is pretty much set for next season. Because go back and look at the additions from last year. In the chat, somebody added context that 8 of the 10 additions came after February, and it's just January 11th. And Hendon Hooker and Chase McGrath were the two that weren't added after February last all season. And even those guys, I don't think they were committed as of January 11th last year. I think it was kind of a mid-January, late January move for them. So you had a lot of guys come in spring ball, after spring ball, right before spring ball last year. And I just know that Tennessee's not like their final roster is not intact. So that's where I say the no part of not having FOMO.
Around January 7th, it looks like there was that's when Hooker tweeted out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So around the same time, just to add some context. FOMO, fear of missing out. I think it's easy to feel that way when you see other schools inside of the SEC add players, because then you're like, why are we not adding players? I think you bring up a good point about James Madison wide receiver versus Nayor. When you said, reference Hub's comments there in the chat, every coach doesn't view every player the same, and every coach doesn't look at a player as a fit in what they want to do either. So Judgment Day will come, whether you was right or wrong. That Judgment Day will be during 12 Saturdays. It'll be 12 Judgment Days on whether or not you were right or wrong on taking a kid from the portal. I think what South Carolina has done has been good. Beamer has used his connections from Oklahoma to grab 2 kids. Here's my expectation, though. This is why I don't have FOMO. I do not have fear of missing out, because my expectations are teams inside the SEC, all teams inside the SEC should be the destination place for a lot of kids in the transfer portal.
Even Vanderbilt?
Did I say all?
Mm-hmm.
Most.
15 of the 16, and yes, I am including Texas and Oklahoma.
No, I'll include Vanderbilt, because not to the same degree, but like if you are a young man at a smaller school or a different conference and you hit the transfer portal and you say, hey man, I can get education and compete in the SEC and I can ball out versus some teams who are really, really good, then that's going to bode well for me personally. I'm not expected to win any games, but like the SEC should be destination place for kids in the transfer portal, period.
And it is.
Yeah, so I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, that other team is loading up and we're not going to load up. And man, I expect everyone to add players. That don't mean they're good players. That don't mean they're going to be good for that team. Because again, Judgment Day will come during the season and there'll be 12 of them. There's no way to know right now who are winners and losers in the portal unless they're guys like Zach Evans is, he's a damn good player at TCU. It's a pretty good pretty good decision to say, okay, he's going to be good at Ole Miss because we've seen him. We've seen more of him. But some other guys that you really haven't seen, you don't really know. It's hard to sit here and go, man, we missing out. Tennessee's in a place where you cannot miss. We can't miss. Cannot miss. So I am totally cool with us being choosy, being picky, and understanding and expecting that you're going to lose some battles. That's kind of part of it. When you're betting, you don't go crawl under a hole when you lose a bet unless you bet your entire life savings or something. But you understand that losing is a part of it. You just want to make sure that you win a whole lot more than you lose. So you take the losses with a grain of salt, understanding that there's bigger bets to win, and the overall goal is to win more money than you lose. So the overall goal is to upgrade your roster, not to get every kid in the portal, not to get 100% yeses, because nobody gets 100% yeses. It doesn't happen. It's a numbers game. The great Jim Rohn, who said, "Man, you can have a great batting percentage as far as sales. It can be great, but if I talk to more people than you, I can beat you. I can beat you." And you got to evaluate, man. You got to get the right guy. So Tennessee, that Nayor commitment, he's a good player. Surprised me. Surprised me that it happened so quick before I knew more details. Once I knew more details, and I was like, okay, gotcha. Yeah, Tennessee was the best place for him. Good job, Tennessee. Good job, Tennessee. But
that, and he had to make a somewhat quick decision because of when you can enroll at Texas and USC, and Tennessee was several weeks after.
Yeah, so it worked out.
It worked out well for Tennessee.
It worked out.
They needed him.
A lot of things that worked out in our favor with that one. But no, I don't have FOMO when I see South Carolina doing what they're doing, because those kids should look at South Carolina as a good place for them. It's in the SEC. It's not Vanderbilt. It's not Missouri. You got some really passionate fans. It's a nice town for the most part. All right, let's go to the phones.
We've got Middle Tennessee Rick.
Rick, good morning.
Fellas.
What's up, Rick?
I'm just sitting here thinking that about this time last year, I actually believe I had the same concerns as I do going into this upcoming season with defense. That's my point this morning. Let you guys talk about it a little bit. I got to get off here because I'm working.
Gotcha.
So it's good to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, after the Music City Bowl, defense is my biggest concern. No doubt about it. On the locker room this past Sunday, that was my concern in the portal, is going and addressing the issues in the secondary and pass rush and the linebacker. And I know Mark Packer was kind of laying out the question about where should your energy go with high school students versus the transfer portal. And I've been someone that's been consistent on here on my program saying, I would go get about 20 guys from high school and go get the rest from the transfer portal. And I was even willing to go as far as saying 17 to 20 guys in high school and then go and get some of the other guys in the class from the transfer portal, because it's like going to get players from the developmental league. It's like saying, oh man, that guy showed what he can do versus Pac-12 talent versus Mountain West talent versus Big 12 talent versus AAC talent. But it's still talent that's more reliable than high school football talent, unless it's like top of the division in Georgia and Florida and Texas, and of course if they came from North Alabama. But like, I love going into the portal, but it's not it's not a grand slam either. You can miss there too.
Yeah, and I kind of feel a little bit differently about the portal. I'm hesitant with guys in the portal. Not all of them. You have your Caleb Williams, the transfer quarterback from Oklahoma, who is a game changer, and you know why he is transferring, because there was a coaching change at USC. But I think more often than not, guys are transferring for a reason, and typically because it didn't work out at the previous school. And that doesn't mean that it's always on the kid, but I'd be lying if I said my first thought was, okay, well, he either wasn't good enough at that school or he wasn't a fit. And again, I recognize that it's not always the kid, but more often than not, a kid is in the portal for a reason. So that would be my only hesitancy about taking more portal kids than high school kids. Now, it worked out in Tennessee's favor this past year But go back and look at Jeremy Pruitt's transfers, and they were not worth taking over a high school kid.
No, man.
Like,
he went to go get what Keller Chris
and
Mondre London.
Like those guys weren't taking over high school kids. So now I trust Josh Heupel to be more effective in the portal than Jeremy Pruitt. He's a better coach, obviously. But I get weary about the portal just because I know there's just so much that goes on with kids transferring nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's, especially if you get guys that have 3 years, I think it can be more reliable than high school in some cases. But you think about it. There's over 1,000 kids in the portal, and you're talking about filling 10 spots. You can't fill 10 spots with a good batting average from 1,000 kids in the portal. 1,000. So I just feel like the odds are a little bit better than getting kids from high school, because these kids from the portal have already experienced college. So sometimes guys from high school, they get this shock of immediate freedom, and they don't know how to act when they get to college. So you get a guy that's experienced college for a year, so more than likely he's going to be a little bit more mature. He's had a year in the weight room in a college football program, so you get that. And now you bring up your point, like, all right, man, what's the reason why you transferred? Did you transfer because you butt booty terrible, you can't play, play dead in a Western movie, or is it something that we are willing to take on, and we think we are the answer? Like we think we are the answer to you being the player that you want to be. You can help us, we can help you. You can't tell me that you can't go find 10 dudes a year in the portal where there's over 1,000 kids. So I feel good about where we are right now and where we can be, knowing, and that was a great point that you made about someone on the chat there, that someone pointed out that Tennessee didn't do a lot of their damage in the portal until spring. It wasn't when it was snow outside. It was when the leaves started to come back and the birds was chirping and flowers was blooming. That's when Tennessee was making this move in the portal. It wasn't right now. So
I think the winter surge of players entering the portal is pretty much over with. Like, you'll still have guys enter the portal here and there, but the mass entry into the portal as a result of this past football season, I think, has taken place. And then there will be a second surge, not as big of a surge, but a second one post-spring, just like there was last year. And Tennessee was able to take advantage of it. And hopefully they'll do the same this year. And they have to do the same this year, quite frankly, because as good as the offense may be, the defense will, as it currently sits, the defense will still lead to them 7-8 wins.
Yeah, you can have a great offense, but if your defense is a liability, you are average.
Yes.
I mean, it's like Tennessee basketball. Not saying that we are average, but boy, we are on the verge of an average result compared to what the expectations are and the talent on this basketball team. You got to have balance. You can't just be terrible in one area and really good in the other area. Like, you got to have offense and defense.
Just like last night, Stetson Bennett can't play hero if Georgia doesn't have a great defense.
Yep.
Because the Georgia defense bent but did not break until the Georgia offense could piece something together.
Yep. Georgia wouldn't win unless they brought offense too and became aggressive on offense, and they did. They were aggressive on offense. That was a difference. So Tennessee defense, man, gotta get that taken care of. I need to go over here to the website, make a little donation to the club. clubs. We can get some players over here, some defensive players. 865-255-03, hour 2 around the corner.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Several of you, like Ben McKee, have reached out to me for real estate assistance this year, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate your trust in me to ask questions and help you navigate the real estate world.
That's right, Jennifer. Buying a home is a scary process, especially for a first-time home buyer. Jennifer recently helped my wife and I buy our first home and made the entire process seamless. Her willingness to go above and beyond is what sets her apart.
As always, feel free to give me a call. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Touchdown or turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Touchdown or turnover by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, the place where you belong. Better rates and better service. We're going to the hardwood for today's touchdown or turnover. Ben, let's talk about these minutes, man. Let's talk about minutes distribution here on the Swain Event. Touchdown turnover. Justin Powell will get more minutes tonight than Victor Bailey Jr. In the last game, Jordan Powell edged Victor Bailey Jr. out by 2 minutes. He had 10 and Victor Bailey had 8. Will we see Justin Powell with more minutes than Victor Bailey Jr.? Touchdown turnover.
I say touchdown. I think Rick likes the potential of Justin Powell more than Victor Bailey Jr., and I think Justin Powell is ahead of Victor Bailey Jr. in terms of performance at the moment and ahead on the totem pole. I don't think that Rick has a ton of trust in Justin because I don't think he likes what he does defensively. I think that Justin passes up on shots that Rick wishes he would take. But I still think he's ahead of Victor on the totem pole. And I realize that maybe Justin is passing up on some of those shots because he's maybe playing a little bit tight because he's afraid of messing up and Rick pulling him from the game. That's a separate conversation. But point blank period, Powell has passed up on some shots recently. We talked about it yesterday. Rick has talked about it. He's passed up shots that he should not have passed up on. So I thought VJ earned a little more playing time in the LSU game. I'm telling you, that first stretch that he came in during the LSU game, I don't know exactly how long he was in. It was 3 or 4 minutes. I thought he provided good minutes in that stretch. He had a corner three that was wide open, and it was halfway down. I still don't understand how that shot did not go down. It was halfway down. It should have gone down. That to me is just bad luck. That one didn't come down. And then he came back and pump faked. Defender flew by him, stepped inside the line and knocked down a nice mid-range jumper. Had energy on the defensive end. And then also got to the free throw line on the next possession. So, and then you didn't see him really after that, at least that I recall. But I had steam coming out of my ears by the time he would come back in. So maybe I missed him because I was angry. But maybe that earns Victor some more minutes. But I'll say turnover. I think Powell gets more minutes because I simply think that there's more potential there.
Yeah, I'm going touchdown, man. I think Justin Powell will log more minutes than Victor Bailey. I think Justin Powell will shoot more than just one three-pointer or one shot like he did against LSU. I think shooters must shoot, and he needs to understand. I'm sure that was talked about in their film session in practice that's what he's in the game for. You're in the game to shoot. Just like you have other guys that are in the game to screen or in the game for energy and loose balls or in the game for rebounding specifically. Like, that's what you're in the game for, is shoot the basketball because you're a good shooter. So we need him to shoot it. Shoot it until you're told not to, until they take you out. But I think Justin Powell's a guy that should have the green light. And you shoot, man. You shoot until we take you out. We shoot until we tell you not to. I think Justin Powell will not only log more minutes than Victor Bailey touchdown, but man, I think he's going to shoot more than just one shot. The AP poll came out yesterday, Ben. Ooh. Slide, little slippy slide. Little splash country going on.
Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. They slid from 18 to 22. I thought that they weren't going to be ranked after the Ole Miss win that they squeaked out and then the debacle down in Baton Rouge. I did not think that they were going to be ranked.
That would be crazy to drop them out completely out of the top 25 for that.
They're not a top 25 team right now, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Well, they are a top 25. That is me being over. That is me overreacting to one game, and I said it yesterday as well. This is still a good basketball team, we are discussing the difference in being good and great. And they have the talent on the roster to be one of the best teams. I think Auburn has more talent on its roster, so I'm not going to say they have the talent to be the best team in the SEC. That is Auburn. They have the most talent. Them and Kentucky have the most talent of anybody in the SEC on its roster. But Tennessee still has the talent to go out and win the SEC. There's no doubt about that. And that is what we are discussing, the difference in taking that next step. So they are worthy of a top 25 slot because they still are a good basketball team. They're just not great right now.
Memphis is number 1 in the country recruiting last year. Kentucky was number 2. Michigan was number 3. Gonzaga was number 4. Tennessee 5. Duke was 6. LSU was 7. LSU is certainly doing what they're supposed to be doing. When you look at the talent that was brought in from this previous recruiting class, you look at Duke, they're top 5, top 10 team, really the only team from the ACC doing anything. Gonzaga's Gonzaga. Michigan has fallen off a little bit, man.
They've had a really bad start to the season.
Yeah, man, they have fallen off, man. They went out and
got Dickinson, but he don't have any help.
Nah, man. Michigan has fallen off a little bit when you look at where they were last year. But I think Michigan, Tennessee kind of right there when you look at the class that they brought in and the results that they have right now. Then, of course, throw in Memphis. Kentucky's is good and will be good. I like their toughness inside the paint, and looks like they have a shooter and they got some veteran guard play. So Kentucky's going to be a good team.
And you did not mention Auburn, did you?
No, because Auburn's not in top end recruiting.
Correct. And they're not because I said a moment ago that they have as much talent as anybody in the SEC, and that is still true, even though they did not finish in the top 10 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they added Jabari Smith, who did come from their recruiting class. Don't know how many guys that Auburn signed. He may have been the only guy, but he could be the number 1 overall pick. They added him. Walker Kessler is a transfer, so that's not accounted for in the rankings.
Should be.
And then Katie Johnson, the heart and soul of that team, who they got from Georgia and is an absolute stud. He was a transfer. So 2 of the 3 best players, and I'd say Katie Johnson and Walker Kessler are more important than Jabari Smith. Like those 2 are transfers.
73rd, because they just signed 1, and that was Jabari Smith.
But they shouldn't be 73rd with Jabari Smith.
73rd with just 1 5-star last year. So that's why, man, it's about what you add to your roster.
Are you not looking at this year's recruiting rankings?
No, I'm looking at last year's. That's the point I'm making about the players that's on this team from last year's recruiting class in basketball. So Tennessee was ranked 5th, along with top programs like Memphis, Michigan, Duke, LSU. We're talking about those players who are currently on the team now.
I know they only signed 1 guy, but I thought Jabari Smith was ranked so highly. I mean, he's top 5, top 10 guy. I thought he's ranked so highly that even though Auburn signed 1 guy, they'd finish better than 73rd.
Yeah. So I mean, this is an example that, man, just it doesn't tell the complete story.
Yeah. So
you mentioned the transfers. Katie Johnson. Wendell Green.
Wendell Green's been balling too.
Zep Jasper and then Walker Kessler. Like, they don't take that in consideration, but you should when you're talking about additions to your team.
Yes.
And look where they are right now. They're 4th in the country, according to the new AP rankings that were released yesterday. And it's not even a doubt that Auburn right now is the best team in the SEC. When you look at legitimate Final Four contenders, I think the SEC right now has 3 teams. 3 teams right now. I think that are playing at a level that could get them to a Final Four. And the draw is always important here and who you go up against. But, man, the ACC is weak. The Big Ten is good. Big 12, they got some teams outside of Baylor, but the Big 10 is strong. And then you look at the Pac-12, and USC, I don't think it's proven yet, even though USC is undefeated. Arizona, we played those guys. I think Arizona has the tools, and then UCLA, obviously, they were there, right there last year. But, man, I think the SEC, Ben, I don't know how you feel, how many teams you have right at this point of the season who could be legitimately Final Four contenders.
Definitely Auburn. Auburn could win the national championship. I think Kentucky is flirting with it. They've, in terms of reaching the Final Four, having that type of potential, they've been a little too inconsistent. But Coach Cal's teams always kind of hit their stride in February and March, and they certainly have the talent to do so. I'd say they're flirting with a Final Four run at the moment. They need to be more consistent on offense. It seems like it's a different guy every night, and that's fine. I mean, that in a way, that's a good thing. But you also want to know who you can get the ball to when the going gets tough. But they've been a little inconsistent this year. Alabama, I don't think they have Final Four potential at the moment. Their defense is not good enough to make a Final Four run. And I don't think Tennessee has Final Four potential at the moment. Arkansas doesn't have Final Four potential at all.
My third one was LSU.
Yes, I think LSU. Thank you. I was struggling to think of the third.
I got your back, Ben. I got your back.
I think Auburn and LSU definitely have Final Four potential. I think Kentucky is flirting with it, and I think Tennessee has a extremely outside shot of that potential. Because not saying that I have confidence in them figuring it out, but if Tennessee were to figure it out offensively, then they could absolutely make a Final Four run.
Yeah, that was my three teams. I think that has some ingredients to make a Final Four right now. Kentucky, LSU, and Auburn. LSU jumps up to number 12. You look at Auburn, they jumped up to number 4. Kentucky's at 18th. Tennessee 22, Alabama 24. Those are your SEC teams inside of the top 25. USC at 5, man, the Trojans, and they just haven't played anybody. They had like 4 games either canceled or postponed. Their game against Arizona was postponed, so they have yet to prove that they really belong in the top 5. But hey, their record says 13-0. Pac-12 basketball is certainly better than football.
Yes. There's ACC is down, but I feel like the Pac-12 is up. It's kind of just been Oregon and a little bit of USC the last 2 or 3 years, but now Arizona's back to being Arizona. UCLA's, but last year was kind of their breakthrough year under Mick Cronin. And now you've got Arizona, UCLA, USC. I think Oregon's taken a little bit of a step back this year. Arizona State with one of the Hurleys, I always get them mixed up.
Arizona State is Bobby.
Yes, they've been tough. The Big East has been fun to watch. I watched a lot of Big East basketball just by coincidence, kind of on a Sunday afternoon or Thursday night, I think it is, or Monday night, I can't remember. But Villanova's fun to watch. Connecticut and their big man has been fun to watch. Seton Hall. ACC is really the only one that's down of the big conferences. That Memphis-Cincinnati game in the American was fun on Sunday. Cincinnati can hoop. I hate that Memphis pulled out the win, but Cincy is fun to watch. It's wild how far the SEC has come in basketball just over the last since Rick Barnes got to Tennessee. Not saying that Rick Barnes gets the credit, but like since what was that, 2013? No, 15, 16. I mean, it seems like every team in the SEC for the most part has made a conscious effort to go out and hire a really good coach, and most of them have. In the SEC, you can be good at every single sport. You have the resources to be good at every single sport.
if you want to use them. Oh, I'm gonna get Ben triggered. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
In this day and age, the way we work is changing and evolving. Businesses still moving forward despite your work location changing and supply shortages affecting a number of different areas. Office furniture is not immune to the halt in the supply chain. This is why Office Furniture Outfitters has purchased desks, chairs, and tables in bulk to provide you with in-stock options for your place of business, no matter if it's in an office building or at your house. Office Furniture Outfitters is the local supplier for Herman Miller, and they keep Aeron chairs in stock. They will come to your office, lay out, and make recommendations. No project is too big or too small. You can visit them on location at 17th Street and Grand Avenue in the Fort Sanders area, or online at ofonox.com, or give them a call at 865-524-3003. Office Furniture Outfitters, providing East Tennessee's biggest selection and best value for office furniture since 1995.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Homes, remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Made in Tennessee Business Fiber Internet from Iris Networks. Find business solutions for you at irisnetworksusa.com.
Highlighting positivity, highlighting good stories, giving people their flowers right now. That's what we do here on Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Iris Networks. Go to their website, irisnetworksusa.com. 90 days, no payment for business internet. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, hour number 2 here on the program. Thank you for being with us, staying with us. Let's highlight some positivity, shall we? Let's do it. We mentioned the men's AP poll dropped yesterday where Tennessee slid a little bit. But the Lady Vols, man, oh man, the Lady Vols put themselves in a position where they are a top 5 team. Let's all say it together. The Lady Vols, top 5 team. This is the first time that they have been in the top 5 since 2015. 2015. Think about where you were in 2015. Some of y'all had a full head of hair. I look at your profile pic, your profile pic, Ben. I almost called you a B word. And
wouldn't be the first time.
You look. I never call you that to your face, but you look like a totally different person in your wedding. That was just what, 2 years ago?
2.5.
Just think about where you were, where we were in 2015.
You know where I was in 2015?
You was decorating bricks.
No.
you was on the Butch Jones train, man. 2015.
Look, you cannot throw out shade when you still have a photo up on your Instagram of you in the football facility holding up the Rise to the Top bricks.
It was hard. Do you know how hard it was to hold that?
No, you need to go delete that. Is what you need to do.
Nope.
Yes,
nope.
You need to.
It's part of my story.
It's
part of what happened
at Calhoun Community College in Huntsville, Alabama, trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. And I'd go to class in the morning, and then in the afternoon and evening and night, I'd go sell shoes in the footwear department of a popular sporting goods store to pay my way through community college.
2015, man.
And I did have a full head of hair. That's when I started to notice I was starting to get a bald spot, though.
2015.
Actually, on yesterday, Monday, was January 10th, 6 years from the day that I moved to Knoxville. I moved to Knoxville January 10th, 2016 for my first semester at Tennessee. I transferred to Tennessee midway through the year, and my first semester was the four captains spring game with Alvin and JRM and Dobbs and who am I missing? Barnett.
Cam Sutton.
Was Cam a captain?
Yeah, Cam Sutton was captain. I don't think Barnett was. I don't like publicly. He was like a captain by the way he looked at you.
Yes. Also, shout out to Cam Sutton, attaboy to Cam Sutton for that pick against the Ravens in the end zone on Sunday.
Man, the Vols doing their thing, man. Juwan kind of overshadowed the Vols in the NFL shining, but
shout out to the Lady Vols.
That's right.
What were you doing in 2015?
Changing diapers. Trying to figure out how the heck I'm paying.
Did you just have a third kid, or were you about to have a third kid?
Well,
I think you had just had a third kid when I met you.
Man, just had my youngest, man. She was born December 2015. So trying to figure out how we gonna take care of 3 kids, praying every day, worrying, wishing, hoping. But here we are, man. Here we are, 7 years later, and Tennessee is 5th in the country. Lady Vols undefeated in SEC play, 15-1. They're having fun. The culture looks positive as I can remember. The ESPN rankings, power rankings, have them at 3. Kelly Harper earned Coach of the Week honors from ESPN.
Yes.
So, man, just a whole lot of flowers for the Lady Vols getting that recognition. But, man, number 3 in the power rankings, 5th in the AP poll. Kelly Harper getting love. ESPN Coach of the Week. Not just SEC, but just Lady Basketball, period. Coach of the Week. That is big time. That is big time. And she's doing it at her school.
Yes, and they are legitimately fun to watch. They are. And this is the most enjoyable team to watch since a Pat Summitt coached team. It really is. And it doesn't have anything to do with basketball. And it has everything to do with how hard they play and how much they love one another. Those two things make me want to tune in every Sunday and every Thursday to watch the Lady Vols, because that's what's been missing. That has been what's missing. I'm not saying it's always the prettiest basketball to watch. Turnovers can still be an issue for the Lady Vols at times. And I know how some of you feel about women's basketball in general, but they are legitimately fun to watch. They are the closest thing to a Pat Summitt coach team since Pat's coaching career came to an end. And I love that it is a Pat Summitt disciple as well. And ultimately, Kelly Harper will be judged on whether she wins a national championship or not, because those are the expectations for that program. But as of right now, a lot of y'all have a lot of crow to eat.
Who you looking at? You looking at me?
No. Yes, but no.
Oh.
Not saying that you have I always look at you when I talk. Most of the time, at least. Not saying that you have crow to eat, but you all know who you are. With your happy Twitter fingers over the last couple of years. Some of y'all have some crow to eat, saying that Kelly Harper, would not do anything. And she is on the verge of getting Tennessee back to where it should be. Hopefully she can win a national championship. I recognize that that's how she will ultimately be judged, but that team is really, really fun to watch. I have two other Tennessee-themed attaboys. The first one goes to Jalen Hyatt. I love what he tweeted out yesterday afternoon at 5:30. He is planning on auctioning off his bowl game jersey, and all of his proceeds will be split between the Knox County Parks and Rec and the Richland Rec there in Columbia, South Carolina, where he played as a kid. And he wants to help needy families that might struggle to pay for fees and safe equipment. And he tweeted that more info will follow, and he wants to make a difference. So I thought that was a really, really cool initiative from Jalen Hyatt there, auctioning off his bowl game jersey from the Music City Bowl to split between the Knox County Parks and Rec and the Richland Rec there in Columbia, South Carolina, where he played as a kid growing up. And also want to give Kevin Punter Jr. an attaboy for his initiative that he has going on, the former Tennessee guard Kevin Punter.
He was he got a little bit of that Rick Barnes development towards the end of his career.
Well, he got a lot of it with a shot.
Rick helped him fix that shot. That's right, man.
Disappointed that you didn't recognize that I was saying former Tennessee guard. But Kevin Punter Jr.
I'm over here doing Lord's work.
Has established the Kevin Punter Jr. Scholarship. He retweeted a tweet that I guess one of his family members or one of his friends tweeted out. Looks like KP shared it on his Instagram story, and somebody took a screenshot and shared it to Twitter. But the Kevin Punter Jr. Scholarship has been established, and it is an annual $4,000 award to a qualified African-American student attending Salison High School in New Rochelle, New York. Hope I said all that correctly. This is
sounds right.
KP's high school that he played at. And this scholarship is in an effort to provide qualified students acknowledgement of their character with the opportunity to evidence their growth as a whole person. The scholarship is not solely based on the student's athletic ability or their academics. Its primary intention is to help young men of color achieve success by providing access to a high-quality education and instilling in them the confidence to help their communities.
Love it.
Shout out to Jalen Hyatt and Kevin Punter giving back to their communities.
Love it. I'm giving an attaboy to former Tennessee linebacker VFL Gerard Mayo, who looks like he's going to be interviewed for the head coaching job there with the Denver Broncos. I'm giving him an attaboy not because he got the job, but because he has put himself in a position to be considered, to be interviewed. And You know, I got a chance to play with Gerard Mayo. Hosted him. I don't know if I hosted him. No, I didn't host him on this visit. I think it was somebody else, but I was right there with him during his visit, and I just remember telling myself that he's different. Like he's different, and always about business, and was uncomfortable going out. It was all ball, very mature, and no surprise that Gerard Mayo is in this position.
Would be cool to see him coach A.J. Johnson.
No, that would be cool. That would be cool. But simpleton Bronco fans are like, oh my gosh, last time we had a Patriots assistant as a head coach.
He is Mayo the DC or just the line? He's the DC, right?
Yeah, DC.
Okay.
Yeah, he's DC. But there's been some talk about does he really call plays?
Yeah,
but it doesn't really matter. Like because being a head coach at NFL is about your ability to inspire and motivate, and let your coaches do their job and have a positive culture.
Mike Tomlin, baby.
There's a lot of dudes who are head coaches who are not coordinators.
I love Mike Tomlin so much. I would follow him into the abyss.
I would too. I love Mike Tomlin.
I would take a bullet for Mike Tomlin.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
I kid. Somewhat kid.
Nah, I ain't doing that. I had to rein you back in like Craig had to do Day. I'll die for this.
I would die for Mike Tomlin.
I'll die for this, man.
You know what?
Hey, we top flight security, Craig. We gotta secure this, man. We gotta clean all this up. No, we don't. We just gotta do our jobs, get paid, and not get shot.
I can show my love for Mike Tomlin in a different way. I don't have to take a bullet for Mike Tomlin to show my love for Mike Tomlin.
You gonna wear some aviators and
I'm just gonna name my kid after him, Mike Tomlin McKee.
Oh, you should name him Tomlin.
Tomlin McKee.
Tomlin
Mike McKee.
Or the Tomlin.
The Tomlin, the coldest Tomlin McKee. That's how I
Tomlin.
will show.
The Tomlin, come here, boy.
Show my love. What? Real quick before we move on.
The Tomlin.
What'd you think of some of the names that the Bears requested to interview? I'll be honest with you. If I was a Bears fan, I would kind of roll my eyes at a couple of them.
Are you talking about head coaching or GM? I saw GM stuff because you got to hire that first.
Well, I kind of rolled my eyes at Leslie Frazier and Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll is good. He gonna get an opportunity.
Daboll intrigues me more, but Leslie Frazier, I was like,
nah, I'm good on Leslie Frazier.
Yes, but 13 minutes ago, Adam Schefter, you're gonna like this one. Hold on to your britches.
Hold on.
Hold
man.
on to your britches.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
I don't need you pulling a Ben McKee in here with your pants off. Byron Leftwich.
Ooh, hold on now. Ice pack.
According to Adam Schefter, 13 minutes ago, the Bears have requested permission to interview both Bucs coordinators, OC Byron Leftwich and DC Todd Bowles, per league source.
I like Todd Bowles.
Bears interested in
offense.
Both Bucs coordinators and both Bills coordinators, Brian Daboll and Leslie Frazier. And when I say I rolled my eyes at Leslie Frazier, it was more because he's a defensive guy, and I think the Bears need to go get an offensive guy. Nothing against Leslie Frazier. I don't know what he would do, how good he would be. I just think the Bears need an offensive guy.
Yeah, if Leslie Frazier was with Minnesota, yeah. I am intrigued by Brian Flores, though. And I'll take a defensive guy like him because, like Mike Tomlin.
He reminds me of Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
And not because he's black, too.
Well, I thought that's why you said that. But
the demeanor and
like
good culture.
Yeah.
That team could have fell apart at midway through the year.
Yeah, they finished 8-1. So the respect that those guys demand and get, that's what you want a head coach. And if you can go out and get a good quarterback, developer, a great coordinator, then you'll be all right. But I like me some Brian Leftwich now. How much does Tom Brady make him look good? How much does Leftwich actually puts Tom Brady, situations he put Tom Brady in? I do know that Bruce Arians lets his coordinators coach, and he does do that. So I like Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles was a head coach there with the Cardinals. Did not work out, but most coaches get fired and get recycled and get another opportunity. So, but I like those names, man. I don't like the Leslie Frazier one, but I do like Brian Leftwich. I'm looking forward to the Chiefs. Go ahead and sit on down so we can go talk to Eric Bieniemy. Need to go ahead and talk to Lane Kiffin.
You want Lane Kiffin coaching your Bears?
Yeah. Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I just don't trust Lane.
Hey, man. He grown man. He grown man.
He don't act like one.
He a grown man.
Does he act like one?
I got to worry about him and co-eds in Chicago because, there's none around unless you want to go all the way to Northwestern. Or, Notre Dame is 45 minutes away. There's just no.
Chicago is a big enough city. He'll find.
That's what I'm saying. Like offensively, I see what Kingsbury has done.
It's not the offense
with the Cardinals, and I'm sitting here saying I want that for me.
Yes. I mean, I understand it from that perspective.
That's the only perspective I'm coming from.
Like, I know Monterio and other guys that were on that 2009 team loved playing for him. Will NFL players feel the same way? Would he relate to NFL players?
He would.
I think that he would. I just
come to the Shy.
I love Lane's offense.
Let's get those hashtag come to the Shy. Let's go.
Look, I would love Lane Kiffin bolting from Ole Miss because I have a buddy who is a bandwagon Ole Miss fan because of Lane, and all he wants to do is talk about how Ole Miss is better than Tennessee and this and that, and Tennessee's irrelevant. I'm like, bro, you root for Ole Miss, and I would love for it from just that standpoint alone, just to stick the knife in my buddy's heart.
That would be great.
And I'll slowly pull it out with a couple twists and turns along the way.
That would be great. That'd be great. All right, let's go back to the phones, 865-255-03. Let's get to Greedy Greg. I gotta stay away from Greg, man. He greedy. What's up, Greedy Greg?
Hey, how y'all doing, guys?
What's up, man?
Hey, that was a pretty good game last night. I can't front. It
was terrible.
Unlike Ben, I had root for Georgia. I don't like neither team, but hey, I'm a little what's the word? I guess I hold a little bit of a grudge, so I wasn't rooting for any ex-ball players that left our program.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Did you say you was rooting for Georgia?
Well, because everybody thinks because Georgia winning, that's going to affect Tennessee. And Georgia has been having the number one recruiting class since 2018. I mean, they still going, they can't do no better than what they're doing already recruit. So, I mean, the only thing it did for Georgia was, okay, now, Georgia can always say all that stuff, hey, we've been beating y'all Tennessee, but now we can come back and say, y'all ain't won that since 41 years, so we don't want to hear that. Now, that we can't throw that back at them. But, I wasn't rooting for Alabama because I didn't want, I'm going to be honest, I didn't want Henry Tortor to win the ring. I didn't want to lead Tennessee like in shambles to go win the ring at Alabama.
I understand that. But did you have to root for a team, though? Can you just watch it?
Well, I wasn't root. I mean, I wasn't just like yeah, go Georgia, but I, somebody had to win, and I'm like, it's not like Alabama winning is going to do, it's going to help us. And everybody's thinking since Alabama winning and Georgia's still getting the number one recruiting class. They still doing what they're doing. So it ain't going to change nothing.
Greg, I wish you would have been able to see me watch the game, dude. I was so miserable. It was like I was in detention.
I had Bill Belichick face on the whole time.
I was depressed watching that game yesterday. It's so angry and I made sure the kids were in bed and I was away from everybody before I started to really watch it because I didn't want the energy to transfer to them. But I was miserable watching the game, man.
I wouldn't, I do agree with Ben. I think if Alabama had their receivers, it would have been a different game because, Georgia defense is phenomenal. But, I mean, Houdini is a great name for Alabama quarterback because if they come at that guy 3-4 guys and he's still getting that ball off accurately. If he had those weapons, we talking about those won't be first round draft picks. You can't tell me that that wouldn't change the game.
Yeah.
But
well, not only the receivers, but in the SEC championship game, Bryce Young had time. Alabama bullied Georgia up front, and Bryce Young was running for his life last night.
But you can do that also because the way they were blitzing, they know they didn't have the weapons at receiver no more. If those receivers getting past those corners and safeties, you can't blitz as much. You have to, so it gave them opportunity to throw the house at the quarterback, and they needed to throw the house at him. I mean, he's a phenomenal quarterback. I can't take that, take nothing from him.
Nope.
But like I said, I wasn't rooting for Henry. I can't see him going to Alabama to get a ring, leaving us the way he left us. I mean, I wish him the best in the NFL. My grudge line ends once he leaves Alabama.
No, it never ends.
He's going to the Steelers. You just watch.
I hope whatever team takes him cuts him.
I hope he does not go to the Bears. Oh, I do not want to root for him.
Hey, I can't hold a grudge.
Manti Te'o Jr.
Like for Oklahoma, I don't want none of those kids to win a ring and do anything while they're in college. But hey, once they leave, I wish them well in the pros, make their money and so forth. I'm not gonna hold a grudge like that. But
I will.
mean, if they just stay to Tennessee, look at what we done with we had over 34 players leave. It might be more than that now. Look at what they just stayed and now with Tennessee kids even see if they stay and defend their state, they will have a great football team. And I just wish they see that. You don't need to go to these other places, and you are playing in the SEC. You are playing Alabama and Georgia every year, so you're going to get the eye attention you want. And you beat them, you're going to get even more eye attention. But let me also just tap on the recruiting. I mean, I'm one of the also fans hoping Tennessee had a little more action, but I do also see how they're building. They're trying to build depth with getting PWOs, about walk-ons and everything. They just got the kid to come back home. He's a 3-star, and he's a walk-on. They got a 2 or 3 offensive linemen from Tennessee. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get out of these walk-ons, but at least you providing depth and we got to build for the future. And we're not going to beat Georgia overnight. We're not going to do it. So and I like them being selective, making sure we getting the right players. We we're doing what we got to do. So I'm for the way they building everything. I do wish we had gotten Verse. I mean, pass rushing is something it hurt us a lot this year, especially with the solid defense plan.
Mm-hmm.
But one more last comment, y'all. Kelly Harper, guy, I got to tip my hat to what she's doing. I mean, you look around the female college basketball. You got former 5-stars on all these teams that used to be at Tennessee, and like, God, we probably would be, the team if everybody would have stayed. But the way she came in and built, and she went and got players that fit, her style and the attitude she wants towards the team, and I just then we lose Bray. She's back, but she's gonna take her a while to be back to herself. But to only lose one game, that was a Stanford, and we was in that game and could have won.
Yep.
Wow. UConn, who's out recruited us the last couple of years, lose their star, and they're not the same team.
Yep.
You love to see it.
And that Stanford game, we also didn't have our best 2 players because what's her name? The point guard,
Jordan Horston.
Yeah, Horston was out that game as well. So for us to play Stanford the way we did, I was very impressed. And I just wanted, I know she's coach of the week, but I mean, sometimes since the Lady Vols didn't win a championship, like we put them on the back burner. But hey, we need to let the world know, hey, we Tennessee. You know, the Lady Vols, they ran basketball for a long time, and look like she's trying to bring them back, and I love it.
I love it too, man. Thank you, Greedy. Thank you, Greedy Greg, man. Good stuff from you. I ain't rooting for no damn team. In the SEC championship game, or title game.
I mean, it was the SEC championship game, title game. It was all the same. I mean, you can word it however you want. If you wanted Georgia to win over Alabama, you were rooting for a team. No matter how you slice it, you can word it to make yourself feel better. If you wanted a team to win over the other for a particular reason, that is rooting for a team. You may not have had a pom-pom in your hand. You might have been singing the fight song. You may not have had your DJ Shockley jersey on. But if you wanted Alabama to beat Georgia because it was better for Tennessee, you were pulling for Alabama.
I mean, you can say that, but I watched the game with zero emotion on when both plays was being made on both sides of the football.
I did not. I didn't want either team to win. See, it sucks to say, but if I had to pick, I would have rather seen Alabama win because I do agree that it would be better for Tennessee if Alabama had won. What's another national championship to them? Georgia, we don't have that 41-year streak to hang over their head anymore, and I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but Kirby does have a national championship that he can now sell. And so I did want Bama to win for those reasons. And look, I'll admit, because of that, I did have emotions when a play would go in Bama's favor or a play would go in Georgia's favor. But trust me, I do find joy in the fact that my Bama buddies who pick on me all the time are in their feelings today. Yeah. I do have a lot of joy in Bama losing. Don't get it twisted.
I understand that. I get that. I get it. Hey, man, emotionally, we ain't all built the same, and that's okay.
I'm just not as cold-blooded as you. Maybe one day I can be like you, but I'm far from it right now.
I can compartmentalize, man. That's all it is, man. 865-255-03. Be right back.
For what is coming up on the Swain Event.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hey there, Swain Event listeners. I'm excited to share my new Keller Williams Realty app so you can tour homes without leaving yours. Not only can you search for homes in specific areas and neighborhoods, you can also have access to real-time market snapshots on stats like average home price and days on market, plus commute times from your office, school zones, and much more. Download my app today and get the most accurate information on buying, selling, and investing in real estate in your area. Just search for the Keller Williams Realty app and click on More in the lower right-hand corner. Type in Jennifer Morris in the Your Agent search bar, then save and you're set. And as always, feel free to reach out at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. There is no better restaurant in town to enjoy the madness of March with. Cheer on the Vols and the Lady Vols with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill or call 865-693-5400.
There are articles and news stories that you read about the things that people do. And when you're reading those and you start to shake your head, you start to scratch your head a little bit, you get confused, you don't understand why, you start to ask questions. But really, there's only one question that matters. What is that question, you may ask?
For what?
Man, it has been a while since we have had for what, but man, it is on time today. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Speaking of Dead End Barbecue, man, hey man, woo. Had some takeout Sunday, some wings. Thought about you, Ben. Thought about you for like 5 seconds. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. It's amazing. Brisket quesadillas was ordered in the house. Pimento mac and cheese by the kiddos was ordered in the house. Sausage and cheese plate was ordered in the house. Thought about you, Ben. Wish you could have been there. Anyways, what you got for what?
I am going back a little bit for my for what today. It is one that I had bookmarked to give following Christmas, but been kind of hectic on the show since Christmas. So as Swain mentioned, haven't really done for what lately. So this is from Christmas Eve when John Lynch had to tweet out an apology on Christmas Eve at 8:32 p.m. He tweets, apparently, while in Christmas Eve Mass with my family, I accidentally and unknowingly liked a tweet. What tweet did he like? It was a tweet throwing Jimmy Garoppolo under the bus and that the 49ers needed to move on from Jimmy G. That was the tweet that John Lynch liked, and he says, apparently, while in Christmas Eve Mass with my family, I accidentally and unknowingly liked a tweet. Never intended to and remain a huge believer in Jimmy. Merry Christmas to everyone. This man, John Lynch,
you don't believe him?
Is using Christmas Eve Mass and the birthday of Jesus as an excuse as to why he accidentally liked a tweet.
Yeah, I don't know why what he was doing and where he was have anything to do with, hey man, you just did not mean to like a tweet. I do it a lot, man. I like a tweet on accident and I have to unlike it. Luckily, it has not been anything crazy like Ben McKee is like terrible. Huh? What?
Like Steve Stripling?
Oh, man. No, man. No, not like Coach Stripling, man. So, like, luckily, it hasn't been anything crazy like that. Like, I didn't like one of Big Orange Mac's tweets from Wednesday, or someone calling you out your name, or someone like being over the top and disrespectful, or being just straight up nasty on there. Never mind, I already mentioned Big Orange Mac. So luckily that didn't happen. But that's happened to me before, where I like to tweet when I didn't mean to. But there's no reason to be like, well, I was in church praising him above,
celebrating his birthday.
You don't need to tell us all that, man.
Speaking of Triple O, do you think he is disappointed that the Fighting Dan Campbells did not reach the 7-win mark this year?
It was a failure in Triple O's eyes, man. All he wanted was 7 wins. That would be considered a successful season. How many they win this year? 2? I mean,
2.5.
2. They won 2 and tied 1. I ain't got much to say either, man. I ain't got much to say. I can't even be excited about a first round pick because
You didn't say that you would be pleased with 7 wins before the season.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, Ben. Thanks for having my back, man. You got my back. Thanks for having my back. Oh my goodness, man. I'm just happy the Bears are cleaning house. Hour 3 coming up.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
In this day and age, the way we work is changing and evolving. Businesses still moving forward despite your work location changing and supply shortages affecting a number of different areas. Office furniture is not immune to the halt in the supply chain. This is why Office Furniture Outfitters has purchased desks, chairs, and tables in bulk to provide you with in-stock options for your place of business, no matter if it's in an office building or at your house. Office Furniture Outfitters is the local supplier for Herman Miller, and they keep Aeron chairs in stock. They will come to your office, lay out, and make recommendations. No project is too big or too small. You can visit them on location at 17th Street and Grand Avenue in the Fort Sanders area or online at ofonox.com or give them a call at 865-524-3003. Office Furniture Outfitters, providing East Tennessee's biggest selection and best value for office furniture since 1995.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Reinventing men's healthcare. Gentlemen, it is January 2022. Time to turn it up, guys. Turning it up means knowing where you stand with your numbers, your testosterone numbers, knowing where you stand with your health. That's turning it up. And you can learn more about where you stand in terms of your health with Low T Center. You can get those levels tested with a comprehensive annual health assessment that is done right there at Low T Center, where they exclusively specialize in men's wellness. Right now, $155 a month for self-pay or covered by most health insurance for the at-home monitored self-inject testosterone treatments. Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Yesterday was media availability for Rick Barnes, and a lot of that attention was because of the LSU game and kind of asking Rick about some of the answers and some of the things he saw in that game and how he improve and how we improve and how some players who are struggling on this team improve, especially Josiah Jordan-James. He was asked about his shooting from 3, and Rick Barnes says what we want him to do is to take the shots he takes in practice. That is what we want. He does shoot it at a very high percentage. He really does. But I think what happens when you are struggling, and it's not just Josiah, it could be any player anywhere, when you come out and like he hit his first shot the other night, it was perfect shot in rhythm of what we wanted. When you struggle like this, it is natural to think, okay, I just want to see if I can make another one. He normally takes wide open shots, but the second one he shot was in transition, and he was not set. He was anxious, but there was no doubt he was. We talked about it with him, and we tried to tell him. There's a fine line where you go, and I said the other day after the game, we were very tight in the Ole Miss game. We went somewhere maybe over the other way where have to find that balance still. That is where players individually have to find a balance. The one thing we know is that we don't think he's hunting shots to do that. I really don't. We want those shots to come into flow. When you get the penetration, that sometimes with our guards, those opportunities are going to be there. So basically, man, he's taking shots that he's making in practice, and he wants him to continue to take open shots. I mean, that's kind of what we talked about yesterday.
I agree with that sentiment. I don't ever look at Josiah and think, man, that was a bad shot. Now, I am getting to the point, and I talked about this yesterday, I am getting to the point with Josiah, like, I don't care how open you are. If they're not going in, don't take it. I mean, it's been a 1.5 thing now for Josiah. We've always had this conversation with Josiah. He's got a pretty stroke. He takes good shots. When is it going to start going in? And now, like, you're reaching the point to where, like, you just are what you are.
Yeah, I don't know how far you can go if you have guards who are open and not shooting open shots.
But if he continues to miss them, what's the point of an open shot if you can't even make the open shot?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
attack the rim.
But I mean,
if you're open, drive towards the basket.
If you're open, that means you're probably driving into not being open.
Yes, I recognize that.
So I mean, if you're open, that means
or driving to a pull-up jumper.
There's a late closeout, and you know somebody's hands down, and you have a shot. You pump fake and then go try the ball in traffic. You're probably giving up a good shot for a bad shot. So I feel you, man. Maybe there's a balance between not taking as many and going to the basket. I mean, all of his shots were behind three-point line against LSU, and someone that is as physical as he is at 6'6" and can bang and can make plays around the rim, you know, you want him to take more than just three-point shots. He's not Brandon Powell, so yeah.
But aside from, like, missing open shots, that starting to become a thing of, hey, how many do you keep taking if you continue to miss them? Aside from that, like, I don't ever watch Josiah and think, that was a bad shot.
No,
he takes shots within the offense. So I agree with Rick's sentiment there, was my point.
Yeah. I think the results could be worse if guys who are open don't take shots, because now we're talking about overpassing and a turnover, where if you take a good shot, at least you have an opportunity to rebound. Well, you should. We're not being really great in that area either, but like you're supposed to take good shots. You're supposed to. Of course, Rick Barnes was asked about Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, why he's not getting minutes. Flat out consistency is what Rick Barnes says. We have told Brandon, and his teammates have told him, that we need him to really come and be a force. We need him to want to impact the game when he comes in, and not just try to stay in the game by not making mistakes. We do not care if he makes mistakes, if he's going to go at the speed and playing at speed that we want. Throwing his body around like Saturday. I thought the best play of the game Saturday is when the player from LSU went in and dunked the ball, and Olivier went up and challenged it, a.k.a. he got dunked on. But then turned around, the next play, Olivier went back and blocked the shot. To me, that's what it's about. We need that. That is the type of play we need from Brandon, Uros, John, and our frontline guys. You know what I thought about when I was reading this quote, what Rick wants? Rick wants 2019 John Fulkerson from Brandon Huntley Hatfield. Remember when Fulker would come in, throw his body around, energy guy, get a tough offensive rebounds, diving into the first row. That's what Brandon Huntley Hatfield needs to do. His energy is so low, man. I said this yesterday. He's low energy.
He doesn't.
You can't play.
He doesn't look locked in. He looks lackadaisical.
Guys, y'all out here looking at his stars and go, man, well, you gotta give him a chance to see what he can do. He's low energy in practice. Why you gonna put him in the game and be low energy? That don't make any sense.
There are things to be frustrated with Rick Barnes about right now. The Brandon Huntley Hatfield situation is not one of them.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I can poke holes in our offensive philosophy at times, Rick Barnes and how uptight our guys play. But listen, if you ain't bringing energy, bringing energy doesn't require a skill. That's want to. That's a decision that you make, and you can't play this game if you don't bring the energy. And basketball is a game, man, dude, I love basketball. If you love basketball, how are you not approaching this game with energy? Basketball is, to me, the greatest game ever. I love it. But you got to have that energy. So that was a really good explanation from Rick, one that, man, kind of talked about yesterday, but certainly hits home coming from the head coach like he did yesterday. He is encouraged on the play of Olivier Camois. I'm encouraged by Olivier, man. I think he's the one post player that's bringing that toughness, and it's going to be needed tonight, man, because Carolina is a tough team physically, and they have been ever since Frank Martin has been there. When you look at some of the notes of this game and some of the things that stand out, Ben. They got some freshman play. They got some transfers on their roster. South Carolina's entering this game with the same record as Tennessee. Obviously, Carolina has not played the same record and have the same quality of opponents, but they have experience winning this season.
Yes, and part of that is they had a very weak non-conference schedule, 153rd strength of schedule in the non-conference, and South Carolina, they're not good at all offensively. The only thing they do well offensively is they rebound. They are really good on the offensive glass. They're averaging 13.5 offensive rebounds a game. That is good for second in the SEC and 17th nationally. They do have a quicker tempo than most. They're 28th in adjusted tempo according to old Kimpom of 72.3 adjusted tempo, and they don't have their shots blocked a ton, and that's because they are big inside the post. They do have a lot of size. Now it's not efficient size, but it is size, and they are tough. Like you mentioned, Swain. They have two post players that somewhat stand out. A.J. Wilson, he's a transfer from George Mason. He kind of starts at the 4, and he is the all-time leader in blocked shots at George Mason this year. Just 4.1 points, 4.5 rebounds, but averaging nearly a block a game. So Olivier, Folke, Uros, Brandon, they're going to have to bring it tonight. And it's not just A.J. Wilson. They have Wildens Levesque. He starts at the 5, and he is more of the more efficient offensive player than the George Mason transfer, A.J. Wilson. He's averaging 10.5 points, 6 rebounds, and nearly a blocked shot a game as well. He has 5 straight games in double figures, 7 games this season with 6 or more rebounds. So they don't do really anything well offensively. They do grab offensive rebounds, but aside from that, they don't shoot the ball well from the field. They don't shoot the ball well from 3. They turn the ball over a ton. They're 328 in turnover percentage. Really bad at taking care of the basketball. They are 190th in offensive efficiency. Defense, a little bit of a different story. 40th in defensive efficiency. They are tough team, so you would expect them to be good on the defensive end, and they are. 25th in effective field goal percentage allowed, and they've limited opponents to just 38% shooting. 20th best in the country and 3rd in the SEC, and they do force turnovers as well. They're 30th in turnovers, and they do have some defensive weaknesses according to the statistics. It's weird. They get a lot of offensive rebounds, but they give up a lot of offensive rebounds. 308th in the country in offensive rebounds given up, and they have allowed opponents to shoot the ball well from 3. 30% of teams' points are coming from the 3-point line against South Carolina, and that is 215th most in the country. So they do some things really well defensively. They also don't do some things really well defensively. So I would take the under in this game. I don't know what the under is, but with the way South Carolina struggles offensively, with the way Tennessee has struggled offensively, I would expect a low-scoring, grinded-out game. I think it'll be very similar to the Ole Miss game.
Oh, Lord. No.
But you also take into consideration that Tennessee went 8 minutes to start the game without scoring.
No.
Surely that won't happen again. I think it'll be similar in the sense of it'll just be a low-scoring game. But Ole Miss and South Carolina are built very similarly. It's just Ole Miss is a better version. A team that struggles offensively and kind of got hot from 3. Rick said that I asked him actually on Friday after our show going into the LSU game. I said I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but Ole Miss shot 50% from 3, so I asked him when he went back and watched kind of what he thought led to that success, and I asked him what their rules are in terms of helping on 3-point shooters. And he did admit that they are a team that helps off more than other teams, and that's because they want to get in the gaps and defend the gaps and create deflections and create steals. So that honestly made me feel a little bit better. At least there's a reasoning to the madness, and it does make sense. But when I asked him that, he also said that was the first time all year in which somebody got hot. And if you looked at their numbers going into the game, what they did in the game did not reflect what you thought they would do going into it, and that was the first time that a team got hot. He said that you could tell that the basket looked like the Atlantic Ocean for Ole Miss. So I think Ole Miss is they're not a good offensive team, but they're just a better version of South Carolina. So it should be a double-digit win for Tennessee if they handle business. Ken Palm calling for a 76-62 Tennessee win. 90% chance of a Tennessee win.
14 points. So Action 247 is your go-to betting app, the only legal sports book in Tennessee. Right now, the spread is 15 points Tennessee, Ben, and the over-under is 141.5.
Take the under.
Yeah, 141.5. And the promotion for today, along with the promotion that will be going on to the end of the month, is by using the promo code Swain Event for first-time customers, there's a 100% match on your deposit up to $800. So you have that promotion going on. Take advantage of that. And the daily promotion for today is parlay promotion, where you bet $25 on college basketball on a parlay with plus 200 or greater odds, and you will receive an automatic $10 bet. So the Tennessee game might be a good game to get in on a parlay. Who else playing today?
No, Kentucky, in terms of the SEC, Kentucky is in Nashville to take on
Vanderbilt. Man, that's a surprising line.
The Iron Bowl of basketball takes place at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
That's important to tell.
Auburn at Alabama. Auburn should win. Alabama's 3-point favorites. I like Auburn. You got Ole Miss, A&M. That's a sneaky good game, but Tennessee kicks off the 4-game slate at 6:30 on the SEC network.
Check this out, man. Kentucky is only a 7.5-point favorite against Vanderbilt.
I would take Kentucky to cover, but a little advice. You don't have to take it, but be careful betting Vanderbilt games because you would think that they're going to lose for the most part, but Scottie Pippen Jr. is capable of single-handedly covering for Vanderbilt or winning flat out. I'd be weary betting Vanderbilt games this year.
Yeah, Kentucky's had some injury issues with the guards, so
they've been inconsistent, which is why you see that line. And it's a home.
It's an away game.
Yeah, it is. It's an away game for Vandy, and they're not allowing.
That's an away game for Kentucky.
Technically, yes, but it will be an away game for Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt. We have not talked about this during around the SEC, but they're not allowing students.
Their own fans.
Yeah, they're not allowing students into the game until like after the Tennessee game next week.
But other fans can go.
Yes, I believe that's the case. I did not read the story. I just saw the headline, but I believe that's the case.
I think I saw that too. And I was like, what? Huh? Oh, all right. Hour 3 continues after this.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy. Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. irisnetworksusa.com.
Let's go to the phones. Let's get to the Iris Networks hotline. 90 days, no payment for business internet. Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare. Turkey Man, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. Can you hear me okay? I'm on speakerphone for going up the road, so I'll make sure you hear me okay.
Yep, we hear you.
Okay, good. Hey, you know, I had so many different emotions last night during that game. You can look at a game and not really, you know, I would have loved it if Georgia had lost because I could watch their tears. The announcers seemed to be pulling more for Georgia, and I thought, boy, that's different than pulling for Alabama. And to me, the officiating, for the most part, was better last night than I've seen.
That call on the field with the fumble and recovery of Alabama, that was an amazing call on the field.
I was stunned they got it right.
Yeah, they got it right, man. That was amazing. I mean,
and the play to start the game.
To get it right before replay. That's what I'm talking about. You should get it right after replay, but they got it right before replay. That was remarkable because I did not see him be, number one, Stetson Bennett. I didn't think it was clear that there was a fumble, and number two, the recovery. Like, we're talking like centimeters of his foot not going out of bounds. So that was a great call. I was hoping they had the Music City Bowl referees, but unfortunately they didn't.
Well, I also noticed that they had to stop play to clear the field, and they didn't say nothing about it or make a big deal about it. And I thought, well, that's different than what we get. But anyhow.
Yeah, because what we did was different.
Yeah, that's right. They was just chunking it everywhere, and they didn't acknowledge it, really. But, yeah, I thought, all in all, and I thought about, you know, Toa being in the portal, and I'm thinking, you know, man, I as bad as we've been and what we've been through, I can't go to no fan portal and change of a ball. That's all I can be, and I'll probably die with the ball. And so I just I had mixed emotions. I really did. I think you didn't want to pull, but then you seen the good part of both ways. Alabama got beat. That's good. I hate to listen to Kirby and them interview him about how he's a top-notch coach now, which I still don't have much to think about being a coach. But I get out of here, guys.
See you, Turkey Man. I turned TV off as soon as the pick six. Like, I didn't change the channel, Ben. I turned the TV off.
I turned it off after the Kirby Smart and Stetson Bennett interview that immediately preceded the game.
Yeah.
That's when I turned it off. I did not want to watch the celebration. Now, I do want to take a moment, if you would allow me, Swain. We need to.
You got a microphone.
To take a moment.
You pushing buttons now.
Your name's on the show. We need to take a moment, and I just really, Swain knows what's coming. That's why he grabbed this cup. I just really want to send a congratulations to Dave Tona.
Oh, man.
Because I know it's been a long...
I didn't know you was going.
I know it's been a long 41 years for you, Dave Tona.
Oh,
about
man.
60, 65 years old.
That'll dry up. We good. That's on the carpet.
I know it's been a long 41 years for you, Dave Tona. But I just want you to know that from the bottom of my heart, I'm so happy for you that you and your Diddy and your Georgia Bulldogs can say that you're now national champions. I'm really happy for you, Dave Tona. You deserve this moment. You really do. I'm happy for you, Dave.
You ain't right.
Dave and Daytona, I'm happy for you.
How about the Georgia player wearing a Bama championship hat?
Really? I did not see that. I'm telling you, I'm not scrolling Twitter. I don't want to see the slop fest over Georgia today.
It was N'Kobe Dean. It was a Bama national championship hat. Oh, man. My goodness. I turned it off, man. As soon as the pick six happened, I turned the TV off. I was done with sports. At that moment, I was done for the night. Oh, man. Let's see. Von Abraham says the call against us. And the call against us, what different? I don't know what you mean there, Vol Birmingham. If they lose this game, Bill Barnes will feel the most heat he has. Oh, no doubt about it. Oh, no doubt about it.
Now, there was one moment in the football game where I got redneck mad for a split second because they didn't call forward progress. They had like three guys trying to bring one down, and they went from the left hash all the way to the sideline trying to bring the guy down. And it was like a standstill for like 4 or 5 seconds and no whistle. Out of the two forward progress calls I had to witness that year or this year for Tennessee and then see that was frustrating. It triggered me for a second.
Yeah. Vol Berman said the call against us was different. That's why we acted different. You mean with the trash being thrown?
Yes.
I mean, if y'all want to compare that, y'all can. I don't really see the comparison at all, but hey.
And they did mention it in passing.
They did mention it.
As they should have, because it was only like 2 water bottles.
It was the game
wasn't
wasn't
stop the game for 30 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't stop the game. You didn't have cheerleaders running off, and like it wasn't the same. So I'm not on that, man. I'm sorry, but I did see some folks in their feelings about Alvin Kamara being on the sideline, and I'll be honest, I don't really care. Don't bother me, because Alvin Kamara has done and does more for Tennessee being in the NFL than any other player in the NFL right now. And if he wants to hang out with his boys that played Alabama, I don't care. Because he is, like, Alabama's not going to be recruiting going, man, yo, Alvin Kamara's on the sideline with us. He's recruiting for us. Like, Alvin Kamara still loves Tennessee and wants Tennessee staff to use him to help Tennessee be successful. That doesn't bother me. Is it weird? Sure, whatever. It's weird, but like it doesn't bother me.
It didn't bother me, but I did not like it.
Man, I was indifferent.
He was hanging out with North Korea. He was hanging out with the Soviet Union.
But he went there and built relationships there.
I don't care.
Okay.
I'm not mad at him. I just didn't like it.
I mean, I understand that. I ain't telling you to like it. 'Cause I ain't gonna sit here and say I liked it, but it don't bother me like that.
But yet more people want to tweet about Peyton being in a box, being neutral in his hometown, essentially. They're playing in Indianapolis, where Peyton, I believe, still has a home. I think he lives out in Denver all the time, but I think he still has a home in Indianapolis.
People bother about Peyton being in the game?
Yes.
Lord. I'm moving on.
Yes. Speaking of moving on, Rick Barnes had a different tune to the John Fulkerson situation.
Yeah. We talked about that before the show.
Yesterday during his media availability.
Yeah, he did, man. He did not know that John Fulkerson didn't feel right against Ole Miss, and that is not ideal. There should be an open line of communication. Player, if you don't feel right, then you need to be letting somebody know.
Rick said, my comment after the game about him was, if he is sick, he needs to let us know so we can help him get back to where he needs to be, because we need John playing to the level where he was against Arizona. Rick also said that John knew exactly where Barnes was coming from with his post-game comments at LSU. I will never say anything in this room, referring to the media room, that I haven't said to my team. If you think I am going to use you guys to get a message to my players, you are nuts.
Yeah, that's why the comments didn't bother me like some of the other folks out there. Because I'm sure John's heard it before, but honestly, what bothers me more is the miscommunication. That bothers me more. That you have your 6-year player not feeling himself, and that has not been communicated properly to the head coach, and head coach doesn't know that.
Yeah, like part of me
that's not ideal.
Correct. It is a mistake on John's part not to inform the staff, or who knows what happened.
Yeah, the situation is a mistake. I don't.
Yes.
If you want to point the finger at one person or the other, but it doesn't really matter. It happened, and you have a veteran coach and you have a veteran player. That should not happen, period.
Correct. And part of me appreciates, if this is the case, if it were the case, like part of me appreciates Folky trying to gut through it and, try to tough it out and not let it be an excuse and kind of hide it in order to tough it out. Part of me appreciates that, just the general concept of it. But at the end of the day, like you just said, Swain, you got to let the coach know, because you're hurting yourself first and foremost. You're impacting yourself first and foremost, and B, you're impacting the team.
Yeah, you gotta let the folks know. I remember my Alabama game my senior year, and I taking myself out, and like that's one of the hardest things to do, is to tell them you can't go, because you don't want to hurt the team if you're not 65, 75%, or at least in a position where you can help your own squad. That's hard to do. So, Ball Birmingham says, how does he not know folks that was still not feeling good from COVID? Well, the player has to tell somebody. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. That's why, like, if you have kid, Vol Birmingham, you identify with this. One of the toughest things is having a kid is like when they can't talk, because you don't know when they start crying. Are they poopy? Are they the diaper's wet? Are they hungry? Are they hurt? Are they sick? Are they hot? Are they cold? Are they uncomfortable? Are they like you don't know. You gotta guess, and it's so frustrating. So the moment the kids start communicating with you, and they say, "Hey, I don't feel good." That, man, it makes it so much easier to parent. It makes it so much easier. And I'm just letting you know about the protocols at that level. If you don't feel right, it's the player's responsibility to let someone know. And if you do let someone know, and then that does not get properly communicated to the head coach, now that's on the medical staff. I've seen a Tennessee trainer get crucified on the sideline on national TV because a player told the medical team that he couldn't go, and the medical team did not inform the coaching staff. And when it was a special teams unit, that player was not available. And Tennessee almost had to call a timeout, if not call a timeout. And those are things that can happen. So I remember like this trainer getting crushed on the sideline. I know exactly who he was, who he is. He was a trainer when I was in school, and I was laughing my butt off for like 5 minutes.
What I don't understand is how the coaching staff and medical staff did not recognize or see this from Folky during the game. I talked about it yesterday. I could tell that he did not look his normal selves. He was good out of the gates against LSU, bringing the energy, forcing some turnovers, going to the free throw line.
I feel you, man.
Creating some offensive rebounds. Like the energy and the activity being locked in, it was there from the jump, and it just fell off a cliff after 7-10 minutes, however long he was out there in the first half. And you could see it on his face midway through the first half. Like, he did not look the same. He looked sick. And I saw Rodney and Austell comment on the text box yesterday and say that he noticed that too. So if I can notice that, and some people in the text box can notice that while watching on television, how can they not recognize that? And maybe they did, because he didn't really play in the second half. But if Folky didn't tell them till after the game, how could they not have picked up on that during the game? Because I noticed it on TV on a Roku back in Knoxville.
I'm kind of wondering what the support staff was doing, because like as a head coach, like you are, like your mind is in a different place than looking at who looks healthy and who doesn't look healthy. Like, but your support staff, your medical staff, 100%. I think about like the Kentucky football game a couple years ago when we had a player wobbling on the field. Curbison, I think it was Kyler Curbison, wasn't it?
Yes. No, Brett Kendrick.
It was Kendrick. That's right. It was Kendrick. He looked concussed. Everyone knew it. Like, everyone watching knew it except for Tennessee sideline and SEC offices, because like no one did anything. So you get in the heat of the moment, and like you just, I guess it's an oversight. That can't happen, regardless of like pointing the fingers whose fault it was. Like it just can't happen. It can't happen. Again, you have a veteran coach, you have a veteran player. That can't happen. Period. Because I'm not really here to point the fingers on whose fault it is. I don't really care. I'm just saying it can't happen. Period.
Hopefully, he'll be back to his normal self tonight.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's just Tuesday. It was 2 days ago.
Yes.
How do we know he's going to be back to normal?
Oh, no, I said I hope.
I hope so too.
Well, hopefully he's back to normal by Saturday. And we're also like reaching the point of, I mean, he's further and further away from those couple of days after Christmas when he had it. So, I mean, it's been nearly 2 weeks now, 2.5 weeks, going on 3 weeks. I mean, it should reach the point of getting back to being okay.
Should, man.
Affects everybody differently.
Yeah, injuries and things like illnesses are always a touchy topic because everyone doesn't respond the same way to the same injury or illness. So like Kennedy Chandler had way more energy than John Fulkerson and looked like he was, he wasn't himself, but he still looked a whole lot better than John Fulkerson. So, and they both were out because of COVID, right? So it's hard to like speculate and compare and assume that he's had 2 days where he should be just back to normal because it's really only been 2 days when you think about it, 2.5 days when you think about it, and you would assume that he should be better, but how better? How much better? Who knows, man?
They're gonna need the post players to step up.
Yeah.
Just keep Carolina off the offensive glass. They should be able to attack the offensive glass. I find it so strange that Carolina rebounds the offensive glass really well, but then gives up a ton of offensive rebounds. Like how is that possible?
Yeah.
And so it's there for the taking.
Let's go back to the phones and
got Jay.
Jay, good morning.
Swain, Ben.
What's up, man?
Well, the meteor didn't hit the earth, so I didn't win last night.
I know.
Well, I was hoping for the NFL tie situation to kick in.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, we've been hoping for a while.
I mean, I know nothing really changes. I mean, they're still just. I mean, it's not like. I mean, is Georgia's recruiting just going to get better now? I mean, but
the championship validates the efforts that he's put in recruiting, and now all the promises he's made about, hey, you come here, you help us win a championship, we're going to win a championship, we're going to win a championship. Like, he's done it now.
It validates him as a coach.
So
it does.
He was already a good coach, but there was a narrative, and it wasn't necessarily a false narrative, but there was a narrative that I think was somewhat dramatic. Oh, he can't coach. Like, he's had some bad moments, but to act like he was a bad coach was always a little dramatic. He was a good coach who was still trying to figure out how to get over the top. And now, unfortunately, he's done it.
Well, it had me thinking last night, and it just seems like in college football in today's age, in the Saban era at least, that there is such a drop-off in talent from teams like Alabama and Georgia that are recruiting top 3 classes every year to teams that are just like in that 7 to 10 range. And to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, I understand you should be more talented, but Michigan hasn't been chop suey in recruiting, and Michigan had no business being on that field with Georgia. It was head and shoulders Georgia was better than them, and that's what to me is so, I guess, just so confusing about it all. It's just how are the teams at the top so much more talented than the teams that are just theoretically right under them in recruiting? It's like if you recruit the 8th ranked class every year and you play Georgia or Alabama, they're going to kill you.
Not necessarily. I mean, LSU won theirs. It was a perfect storm, right, of Joe Burrow, Brady, the offensive, mastermind there, and you had a good recruiting class that came in a couple times, and they kept guys. Like, they kept guys on the roster. You didn't have a lot of attrition, and they developed. Like, Justin Jefferson was a 2-star receiver.
That's wide receiver you.
Shush your mouth.
I'm sorry. LSU.
I want to hear that.
LSU, my God. A school that can't even get a quarterback, and they're out here turning out these first-round draft picks at receivers. It's unreal.
Hey, Alabama's receiver you right now. But
Yeah. But here's what I was thinking, though. I do think Heupel is going to be able to recruit better and better. I think they're going to get some solid classes in here. And with this offense that he runs, maybe that gives us a puncher's chance. Because I don't think you can just kind of line up and play traditional against Alabama or Georgia right now the way they're recruiting, unless you have one of those LSU teams, or unless you just, unless you're right on par with talent with them. Maybe Texas A&M with this recruiting class they just bought. But If not, and you're recruiting in that 7 to 15 range, you might need some kind of offensive, something that can equalize it offensively, like maybe what Heupel runs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Heupel continues to recruit, especially on defense, to be honest. So, Jay, I already know what your call is every single time you call, man. It's always about recruiting, which is what I love.
Hey, I love it, brother.
I know, man. Appreciate it.
I'm always thinking about how we can recruit better, but we'll see what happens, guys. That's just it's just a terrible day. Georgia won a national title.
Yeah, it's going to be a terrible day regardless. Either or. But 2016, LSU was second in the country in recruiting. 2017, LSU was seventh in the country and looks and we know what really matters is about where you finish in the conference. 2016, I mentioned second. 2017, they were seventh. 2018, they were 15. The 2019 season is when they went and wrecked shop, right? So they had good players, but they wasn't sitting at the top every year like Georgia. So go get good players, develop them, keep them there, get you a stud quarterback, and you can go compete for a championship. You can go compete for a championship. Clemson wasn't number one every single year. The 2 times they won a championship. But they were in position. They were in the top 10, and they kept players there. They developed them, stud quarterback, and won multiple championships. So you don't have to be number one like Georgia every year to go win a championship, but you do have to be in the conversation. You need to be in the top third recruiting wise against your competitors in this conference, and you better keep them, and you better develop them, and you better have a quarterback. 865-255-03. I want to mention this before we go back to the phones. Y'all funny on this text box. Said that John Fulkerson is 15 years older than Kennedy. Mike in Georgia says Kennedy's also about 15 years younger than Fulky. So, and then Downtown Vol says KC, Kenny Chandler, had more injury than Fulky because KC is like 18 and Fulkerson is 56.
Good points.
Yeah. Dave from 423 says, I am nowhere near the elite athlete, but I had COVID 2 weeks ago and went back to the gym and was winded doing normal low-interval cardio. I was gassed. I can't imagine playing basketball for 40 minutes. Now, I mean, Ben, you mentioned, coming back from COVID and, COVID hit my house, and I can see the effects of it with those in my house, and you might be negative, and you may feel better in some areas, but man, the spell that it does to you when it comes to breathing and being able to recover to that, man, it's documented, it's undeniable, and we know somebody that's been affected by it. We see it with sports teams that we follow. Count says tight ends are cool, but what about the defense? Tennessee did. Can't forget about this. Tennessee did add I'm only mentioning it because it's on text box. But I ain't about to make a big deal about Tennessee bringing in walk-ons. Ain't no offense to walk-ons, but I'm not about to get people's hopes up about walk-on. You got to go do something first.
It's a cool story because he is from Kingsport, but he is going to be a preferred walk-on.
You gotta do something, man. You gotta do something. And then we mentioned, we mentioned Shula because it's Shula. But man, you gotta do something. You gotta do something. You gotta do something. They ain't trying to be mean.
No.
But
and the reason this tone is coming from Swain and I is because everybody acts like every commitment in the world is just a game changer.
It's not. It's not. It's
so like the preferred walk-ons and Like, it's a cool story, and hopefully he'll get a chance to play, and hopefully it'll be a story like Stetson Bennett's. But the likelihood of it happening is very slim.
Here's the message I will use that is the same as coaching about how they treat their players. Everyone's not treated the same, but you'll be treated fair. Same thing goes with recruiting here for me. It's like, hey, man, we're going to treat you fair, but it ain't going to be the same. Like getting a stud, highly rated player, really good player, a championship level type player, that's going to get a little bit more conversation than a walk-on, preferred walk-on. Just saying. Unless you see, which, this could happen in the future, a finagling of the system to go get stud players, going over the scholarship limit and getting stud players and getting them as walk-ons. But we ain't there yet. Let's go back to the phones.
We got C-Mac.
C-Mac, good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, C-Mac?
Man, another day, another opportunity to be great. A couple of things this morning that I clearly missed. Y'all talked about Gerard yet?
Yes.
Swain, what is the likelihood, given the recent success, some success?
Bag up, Terry.
Put C-Mac back on hold. Put C-Mac on. Let's do this over again. Man. Let's do this over again. All right, let's go back to the phones, the Irish Networks hotline. Let's bring in C-Mac. C-Mac, good morning.
Why are you yelling at me?
C-Mac, you need to wake your ass up. You're not about to come on here making us sleepy. You got to bring some energy.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Up. Open your eyeballs, man. Wake up.
I'm really trying. All right, so let me try to take this approach. McKee, I have a new name submission. Okay, we're gonna start doing this until we get there, because technically,
I ain't do that, man. That's Ben.
Whatever. The highest McKee. Yeah, the highest McKee.
I don't live in Colorado like you.
No, it's a play on words.
It's a play on no.
The highest. The highest McKee,
I've already reserved my name, my kid's name, if it is a boy, for Ja Tomlin McKee.
I like that Tomlin.
Okay.
Ja Tomlin McKee. And if it's a girl, it's going to be the sweetest.
We're not doing the sweetest.
The sweetest Ray McKee.
I like that. That's beautiful.
All right, I might can get down with that. I might.
Yeah, that's
I might can get down with that.
That is beautiful.
All right. Swain, given the recent, somewhat recent success of first-time head coaches who were formerly position players or formerly position coaches, what is the likelihood that someone like Gerard could actually get a good look and some good interviews this time around?
I mean, it's. I like the chances, because you're looking around the league and young, new coaches, not recycled coaches that have been head coaches, that have been in the system, that go from head coaches to coordinator to head coaches. They've done it 3 or 4 times. Like we're not seeing those guys, get opportunities like they used to. We're seeing young, new blood, and I like that. Mm-hmm. The thing that goes against Gerard is that he's a defensive guy. And so we see the offensive coaches get the nod. Like we see Zach Taylor there with the Bengals. We see Kingsbury fail at Texas Tech and then get an NFL job with 0 head coaching experience in the league, and it's worked out. That's what we're seeing. And so that's the thing that goes up against Gerard, but Gerard's going to be a beast in the interview process. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. This is my stretch dream goal.
You got 20 seconds.
You a Broncos fan?
I mean, no, but I mean, to have more influence, to have, Peyton, to have Gerard, to have AJ out in Denver with me, that's a pretty good orange contingency.
But not a big
if
shot,
Gerard
Rob?
could, All right, see, Rob is like way down south, and he know that.
But he's in
if he bring
Colorado
his
with
ass up to Denver, yeah, but that's a ride down south.
So you gonna go all the way to California to see Vol family, but you ain't gonna talk to your Vol family right there.
It's like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, what kind of friend are you, man?
Y'all be messing me up, man. Y'all be throwing me all the way up under the bus.
You started.
Shut up, McKee. All right, last thing. Stretch dream goal. All right, they give Gerard an opportunity to be a head coach. Do we get like a 32% chance he hires a position coach from the Baltimore Ravens who also maybe played for Tennessee?
If he wants receivers to develop and be productive, I would say no.
Wow, McKee.
He got some receivers in the league right now doing this thing that he can claim.
That's why you got to get. That's why you got to get put to bed by some punk A dude named Jackson in the playoffs. Whatever. Okay. Well, hey, great phone call this morning.
See you, man. See you. See you, man. If I see another Jackson Mahomes
so
TikTok
cringeworthy
video, oh my gosh, that's a good point by you, C-Mac. But I need for you to be a better friend, man. Big Shot Rob is right there in Colorado. Y'all are literally less than an hour away. You gonna fly all the way out to LA, hang out with Rusty and Gina, but you ain't gonna hang out with Big Shot Rob. Big Shot Rob is cool. We hung out with him.
I could assure you Rusty and Gina are not as cool as Big Shot Rob.
Nah, man. Nah, sorry, Rusty and Gina. The Big Shot Rob.
Just facts only.
His wife, cool.
But then again, C-Mac's not cool enough to hang with Big Shot Rob either.
Had a lot of good points today. Good show. Fun show. I was scared about doing the show today. Considering Georgia won championship. Ugh. Tennessee, South Carolina tonight. We'll be back tomorrow and talk about it. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Good morning, Swain Event crew. Fall is here, and according to the big box stores, it's Christmas time too. This time of year is traditionally a busy one for the East Tennessee real estate market, and it will continue through the end of 2021 as well. Most people think the holidays aren't the right time to buy and sell. However, it is one of the best times to jump in the market. To find out more, just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, at 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!